Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018, 5:44 p.m., and we will now begin the Compton City Council meeting. If you could all please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Let us begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita. Here. McCoy.
Here.
Sharif.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. We will now proceed forward with our commendatory resolutions and presentations. We are pleased to have with us some very special guests with us. We have our Centennial High School Apache marching band with us. Let's give them a hand. Apache's in the house. We also have our Dominguez High Dons in the house with us tonight. Let's give them a hand. All right. And we also have representatives from Compton High with us tonight. Anybody from Compton High? All right, all right. All right, our Tar Babes. I'm going to ask for our city council to join us on the floor so that we can present you all with some very special accommodations. Thank you. Cecil, do you mind removing this rubber band? Thank you. We are celebrating the commemoration of our awesome, talented students participating in the 2018 Kingdom Day Parade. And I'd like to welcome up Dr. Adrian Dove, their fearless leader. Come on. And we've had the pleasure of acknowledging Mr. Dove and his amazing team in the past, and we'd like to be able to do it again this year for their success. And so, Mr. Dove, I want to ask that you just give a brief introduction about what they have accomplished this year and why it's really important to represent Compton in these parades.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. And I don't have a bias, but I did graduate from Compton High. That has nothing to do with the fact that they earned that. And welcome also to Centennial and to Carson and to Dominguez. I covered all three, right? Yes. And so every year we have, for the past 35 years, this will be the 35th year, 2019, so 34 years, we've had a parade honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. It started as a small neighborhood parade, and it's grown now to the largest celebration of Dr. King's birthday in the entire United States. We have 2.5 million people watching it. And it's, thank you very much. We're very proud of that. And there's people, I guess, a lot of Compton involved in that parade. Leslie Sykes is our MC every year. She's a product of Compton, and so am I, and a whole lot of people here. But each year we have a fierce competition for the best band, and there's some independent judges from the Judges Association that are recognized and accredited nationwide, and they award to the trophies. They award the best band, and so it's our pleasure and our honor to come down tonight and to award it. We decided to do it at Compton City Hall because 3 of the 4 top brands in the country this year and last are in the Compton Unified, in the city of Compton. So, and the other band in the top category is right nearby the city of Carson. So Carson High School. Is Carson here? Okay, yeah, there they are. Yeah. So it's all the same. And so it's a great honor. I think we want to call up at one at a time. I want to introduce our first princess from the parade, who works over at Charles Drew Hospital, and want you to join us and say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Johnson. I'm representing the MLK Royal Court. I am not from Compton. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, but I am a proud Spelman graduate and a Charles R. Drew Master's graduate as well. Congratulations to you all. Really excited to be here and to meet you.
Thank you. And she's not from Compton, but she's working in a suburb of Compton called Watts. Well, not Watts, Willowbrook. Willowbrook, yeah. All righty, so I want to do this real quickly, I guess, with maybe if you could stand on the other side of the mayor, and then we'll bring the honorees between you guys to do the presentation, and the city council members. The first place award this year for 2018 is the Centennial High School Apache Marching Band, and it's he'll come forward, is Mr. Manuel Castaneda here. Where's Mr. Manuel Castaneda? Oh, please come forward. Okay. So could you guys, rule 1 is, yeah, let's do a photo and face, yeah. So, Manuel Castaneda is the, could you want to say a couple of words on behalf of Centennial?
I mean, on the resolution.
Good evening, everyone. Manuel Castaneda, band director here. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming out here. These students work really hard, just as all our students in Compton and Carson. But there has to be, I guess, one winner, and we're happy to be fortunate. Thank you.
We didn't get to do this part of the presentation last year, and the second. Okay. We have one more trophy for this band, and that's the 2017 trophy that we didn't get to deliver. So second place last year, first place this year. Can they bring the trophy up? Do you mind having 2 of them? And this year we used to have just a graphic in the top of that trophy. We have a picture of Martin Luther King and the Congress of Racial Equality. So in the little plaque, it's specially made in the neighborhood. Congratulations to Centennial Apache. Thank you very much. The next band is the second place this year, still in the city, Dominguez High School, Red and Gold Soul. Chris Dominguez, please come forward. And Miss Lolita Carter is the director of the Dominguez Red and Gold Soul. Miss Lola. Come on up here.
While we doing this, good evening, everybody. Dominguez High School is thrilled and honored to be here this evening. We're thankful for, to the committee for inviting us every year. We're pleased and honored to go, and we thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lola. Thank you, Ms. Lola. But before you go, it just so happens that last year, in the competition of all the bands, Dominguez was the third place band, and then second place this year. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, man. That is the Red and Gold Soul. Yeah. So, when we come by to visit, we want to see it in the trophy case at the school. Okay, the third place this year is Carson High School Marching Band, known as the Blue Thunder. Where's Blue Thunder?
Let's give them one more hand. A big congratulations on your third place trophy. Come on over, and we just also wanted to honor you with recognition as well. Thank you all for coming down on this evening. Can we have some words from your director?
Just want to thank everybody for having us here, allowing us to do this parade. Had a good time doing it. I remember I'm a Carson alumni. I did the parade when I was in high school and had a great time. So glad I was able to come back and have these kids experience the same thing I did. So thank you.
Thank you. Our fourth poll. For Compton High School Marching Band and an attachment unit. Thank you. You newfangled things like microphones. Is the Compton High School Band here? I'm sorry. Anthony Mr. That's Mr. Anthony Rasper. Anthony Rasper.
On behalf of the Superintendent Brawley of Compton Unified School District, the Compton High School Administration, and the Compton High School Band and attached units, we want to thank you for bestowing this gift upon us, all right? And happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Let's hear it for Compton High School Band, Anthony Rasper. Special award. I want to make an announcement. I hope I'm not surprising people.
We're about to take a picture.
Oh. Our queen is very media savvy. She said, hold off the announcement till this picture is taken. This photo op, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I want to make an announcement. I just whispered it to our mayor, and that is the parade this year. We're going to. Last year we had Grand Marshal was Senator Kamala Harris. Senator Kamala Harris was our Grand Marshal, and she received the honor was passed over to her by Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And then we had Steve Harvey before. We didn't know that he was going to get bigger than as big as he got, but all of our past, we've had, way back, we had Stevie Wonder twice and Little Richard when he was in, and one of the most prominent that we had in the early days of the parade was the Young Jackson Five. There were just a couple of kids in town that we thought they had some promise. But that's when you have a parade that's going back 35 years, you have a lot of history. I see history here tonight. I wanted to just make one quick announcement. I'm going to get out of your way because we got a city council business to do, but this is part of your business. But we are going to, with open conversation with Mayor Brown and the city council about the possibility of making our focus this coming year, our 35th year, on the city of Compton. We believe we believe that Compton is a Renaissance town. And we're looking around at some of the great people that are doing things. A guy named Richard Williams, who took his two daughters and trained them separately and played them against each other so they were better than everybody else. So the Williams sisters, and we looked at a Compton High graduate, or one of the Compton High graduates, one of the schools in Compton, Ava DuVernay, as another Compton girl that is doing A Wrinkle in Time. That was featured in our parade this year with Crenshaw High, and now she's doing well. She did Selma and a whole host of others, and doing the regular things, working closely with Oprah. We had our MC every year that we select. I asked the ABC would they do that. And they said, who do you want? I said, can we have Leslie Sykes, because I kind of just sort of like her. She's also from Compton, a native of Compton. And we have Dr. Dre, who's been doing some things for the school district in Compton, Ice Cube. So many people have come out of Compton that it's not an accident. Something's going on in Compton, and it has been going on for some time. And so we want to kind of compare in athletics and sports and music and entertainment and politics. Compton is, to the 21st century, the Renaissance of its second decade, as was Harlem to the 20th century in the second decade. And as a comparison, so we want to kind of focus on that, Compton. And it's not just because I'm from Compton. But actually, I'm from Willowbrook. But we wanted to make that announcement tonight, and we wanted to thank the mayor, city council, for having us over and allowing us to come and do this part of our ceremony in your city council chambers.
Thank you. Our home is your home. It is such an honor. Thank you all so much. Let's give them one more hand. Oh, thank you. Is Ms. Raquel Gonzalez here, Ambassador for Donate Life for California? Okay. All right. We'll save this for her. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for joining us in our commendatory resolution presentations for the Compton City Council meeting. We will now proceed forward to public comments. If there are members of the audience that would like to exit, we'll give you an opportunity now to take a quick recess. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you all. We will now proceed forward with our public comments on agenda and non-agenda matters. The first speaker of the evening is Mr. Robert Ray. Thank you.
Compton. In my agenda, item number 4 does not have any dates attached to it. However, I was given a supplement piece of paper with dates, so I don't know how that's going to affect the legitimacy of the item on the agenda. But with no dates on what I saw on the agenda. This past Saturday, the American Red Cross, along with the help of 309 volunteers, installed 873 smoke alarms in the city of Compton. So, a whole bunch of families are sleeping a lot better at night knowing they've got smoke alarms that they got for free that are going to protect their lives in case of a fire. However, there's a lot of folks in Compton who are not sleeping well at night because they're worried about how they're going to pay their next month's rent. Several years ago, I brought the issue of rent control before this body, and I was totally ignored. Now, if you've heard, Los Angeles is talking about it, and I think it's time that we talk about rent control in Compton again. One of my jobs as a Red Cross caseworker is trying to find housing for people who have lost their homes due to a fire. And when I pull up listings of apartment rentals, it costs more to rent an apartment than it does to pay a mortgage on a house. It is outrageous, the rents. And this is why we're getting so many people that are going homeless. So I'm requesting that one of you council people talk to the city manager and our city attorney and see if we can't bring back a resolution bringing some type of rent control to the city of Compton. Right now, landlords every year can just raise rents to who knows where and gouge their tenants just because they can. Rent control will put a limit to just how much rents can be raised each year. One other issue, since I've got time, we're going to be talking about the budget. I'd like for you guys to consider removing all but one of your liaisons. Keep one liaison. If you want a job description, talk to Tana McCoy. She was it. Use that money to hire parking and code enforcement. If parking enforcement and code enforcement would write the number of tickets that they should write, they would pay for themselves. For example, parking. If someone parks in a handicapped parking spot without a blue plate, that's a $350 ticket. If somebody goes to Food for Less parking lot, you can write a half a dozen of those tickets within just a couple of hours. So, you know, we need to generate money and get rid of the people who don't need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Ms. Renee Guzman? Or Mr., excuse me, Mr. Renee Guzman. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rene Guzman. I'm a resident of the city of Fontana. However, due to your constituency's request, I arrived to Compton to address an issue that has been addressed and complained for over 8 months. First of all, I want to thank City Council, Mayor Brown, the sheriffs, and the city attorney for the 3 minutes I have to address this matter. I drove 2 hours just to make sure that I came here because it's a serious matter that you need to hear, and you have a serious problem that will cost you a major lawsuit. I'm here to continue to address a very serious safety and financial issue in Compton. The huge matter is illegal street racing, specifically on Greenleaf and Santa Fe. Your constituents have been complaining, as stated, for over 8 months. I have texts, videos, emails, 911 calls, letters depicting their complaint. I even have a lieutenant from the sheriff's department who stated in writing, and I quote, "They do not have the manpower, the tools, the resources, or the funding to fight this issue." So my question is, did they give up? And this is on District 4. When is City Council, the sheriffs, and the city attorney going to swiftly, effectively, and with full force attack this major safety issue that hurts the enjoyment, peaceful living, and above all, the safety of Compton residents? Mayor, you were elected under the strategic buzzwords of standing for the safety and peaceful living of the residents. Then why is this continuing? The City Council, the SO, the city attorney, when are you going to take some action until someone dies? I attended the Civilian Oversight Commission, made contact with SO captains, and to date, no one's ever contacted me. Additionally, and sadly, Compton Fox 11 and Channel 4 discussed the problem with illegal street racing and how San Bernardino, Gardena, and Torrance combated the problem, and they stated that in Compton, no arrest or citations or towing of vehicles occurred. When they take the heat in those cities, where do you think they're coming? They come to Compton. You're going to have this problem if you don't attack it, just like San Bernardino did. And you can look it up in the news. They set up a task force. It's not very difficult. I called Mayor, your office 5 times, talked to your staff, no return calls. I didn't want to do it in public. I want to have this meeting in private, but I had no choice. So I came. By the way, Emma, Sheriff, just met you. Everyone compliments you that you're open to discussions. So I thank you for that. I just hope you're briefed properly of what's going on. Compton has a financial problem, but when someone gets hurt or
Thank you,
dies...
sir. Your time is up, your 3 minutes. But thank you for bringing this item to our attention. We will be working together, Councilwoman Sharif and I,
Please.
of course, with our city administrator, our sheriffs, our city attorney. This is an issue that has been brought to our attention. We were actually provided suppression in another area of the city, and now they've moved to another location. So this is the first that I've heard of this particular location, but we will follow up. And I know that it is in the 4th District, and we'll continue to work on this, and we'll make sure that we have a response for that area. And I know that there has to be pressure in that area. There has to be citations. There has to be an
Towing
immediate
vehicles.
response in order to alleviate the issue. Towing vehicles, all of that. We have to put a financial impediment on those racers so that they can understand that this is not an open field ground. So thank you very much. And I did receive your phone calls, and when we receive issues for our constituents, if there are safety matters, we forward them directly to the appropriate parties, which is Captain Thatcher. And so we have provided response.
And I thank you, and I just want to address that I'm not targeting City Council at all. This is a collaborative working network with the Sheriff's Department, with the City Attorney, City Council, and the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you. I really appreciate Mr. Guzman coming up because in the town hall meetings, his wife has been there. This came up several times, and the sheriff has been out there several times trying to address this issue. And I've been working with the city attorney, city manager to address these issues. So hopefully we can figure out some way where we can come up with a task force or something to address it, because I know when that's there, when that is really disturbing to the community, and they do have a right to live in peace. And I even asked the city, the sheriff, if they would try to find out who was actually the head of the organization was, so maybe we could have a meeting with them so that we could have a heart-to-heart conversation with them about this, because it's really disturbing to the residents there in that community. So I do appreciate them coming up and talking about this. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. KW Toulis.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, elected officials, KW Toulis with Congresswoman Annette Berrigan office. I wanted to come to invite the residents and those members here of Compton to our Congresswoman Annette Berrigan Water Quality Town Hall meeting, which will be taking place next Wednesday, May 2nd from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the George Washington Elementary School located at 1421 North Wilmington Avenue, Compton, California, 90222. If you have any information and would like to call our office, you can call our office for more details at 310-831-1799. I want to also thank those residents who was able to come out and play catch with the Congresswoman this past Sunday at the Wilson Park. I want to apologize to those who was not able to, did not receive the invite to be a part, but we know that the Congresswoman, she's a big baseball fan, and she plays for the Congressional Baseball Team, and this year she's decided to play catch with the residents and within the district. And this past Sunday we was in Compton, and I want to apologize if those invitations were not received by some of our council members, but we had a wonderful time. She was able to play with the children and with adults, and we look forward to doing this around the district continuously. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sir, also I want to thank you for visiting the business today in my district. The guy really appreciated it.
Yes, please.
Mr. Toulis. Yes. I just had a quick question. So, the baseball event on Sunday.
Yes.
Was that arranged with any park staff?
You know what, I was hoping that it was, but unfortunately I was not in the city, so that was the plans for us to make sure that the park staff and the electeds knew about the event, but I'm not quite sure who sent what. I was not here on last week, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Ms. Mary Edwards.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
And elected officials. I just like coming and making good announcements. You know, we hear so many negative things about Compton, but I'm going to tell you something. Park and Recs is doing something at the various parks in Compton. Now, I don't like to toot my own horn, but we have a nonprofit agency, and we work out of Tucker Park. I'm finna call her Sister Tana. I'm so used to being in church. Councilwoman Tana McCoy. Well, let me tell you what's going on now that I got your attention. I just do that intentionally to get your attention. We are inviting all of you to the audience, the viewing audience, your children, your grandchildren. Guess what? Number 2, we're launching another Cricket Day. And I gave one of the babies a flyer, and he thought I was talking about the little bugs on the floor. But I'm talking about the game of cricket. It's a lot like baseball and golf, a little everything. But anyway, on April the 28th, this Saturday, and we're going to even let you get your sleep because it doesn't start until 1 o'clock. It's from 1 to 3. We're having a spring up with cricket because it is spring. And we're launching our cricket program, and we endeavor to bring cricket everywhere because this is a game that our young people can play. And the good part about it is that USC, Trojan Cricket Club, somehow they fell in love with us out here in Compton. And they're coming to coach our young people and do an exhibition game so you'll know how it goes. Now we have a jewel as one of our collaborative partners, and that is Mustafa Khan. He's with the Southern California Junior Cricket. This man comes out and volunteers his time. Not only does he teach us our young people, but other parks, he teaches them cricket. But we want to invite you to come out this Saturday at 1 o'clock at Tucker Park. And Tucker Park, I have flyers with the address, and Walter Tucker and the rest of them will be there. He was there last year, and he said he'll be there this year. And we have free food. You know y'all like to eat. But I found out yesterday, that the USC Trojan team are vegans. And we had planned to serve hot dogs and snacks and things like that. Well, they don't eat meat. Thank you. But if anybody want to donate for some food for them, salads, I'm here.
Thank you, Miss Mary. Mr. Holyfield.
Good evening to the Honorable Mayor, City Council staff, ladies and gentlemen. My concern is, it's going to be sort of brief. It's concerning really the state audit situation. And due to the state audit situation, we need an emergency type of report on our finances. In other words, we don't know what our balance is. We don't know what kind of financial shape we're in. And we would like to have the council. For instance, the treasurer will bring the report to this evening and then file it. We would like, instead of bringing it, I'd like to have a report from the treasurer and or the controller at least once a month based on our status. And this is what I'm speaking from the business community itself. And I have here a flyer. And this flyer here goes back a number of years when we had those yellow boxes in town, by the way, all over with flowers in them. It was about beautification. For instance, our councilperson from the 3rd District mentioned Tejada and Compton Boulevard, that lot has not been addressed. And then by the creek, there's a tent, like a teepee, right now. And then they've been burning fire at night. So you think you're out in the desert somewhere, out in the woods someplace. And this is on Compton Boulevard. Now what we're doing as a chamber, and I keep talking about that, Compton Boulevard represents 4 council districts. You don't have to ask anybody anything. Just drive down the street. Okay? And we put a moratorium on this ghetto look. A moratorium. That means we're not going to tolerate it anymore. That's what they say in the other cities. We don't tolerate nonsense. That's what they say. How do you keep your city so nice? We don't tolerate it. That's what they say to you. And I'm saying to all of us, we have got to stop tolerating all this ghetto look. And how can we have our kids, and then people talking about they're going to bring it back next year, parades and all this, and then come down Compton Boulevard. Paramount changed to Somerset. Why? Over here in Gardena, changed to Marina. Why? Because we weren't doing our job. And I know that the power to be do not want me to speak like this, but we have got to change this ghetto situation. I've been on that boulevard 50-some years, and I'm tired now. Let's beautify. Let's make each individual who owns the property responsible. And like Robert Ray was talking about, the code man. If you don't do the right thing, the code man's coming. If we need more code people, let's get them. Let's do what is right. I mean, this is our town. If you live someplace else, you will make sure that our city is clean before you leave to go back someplace else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holyfield. Mr. David Irons.
David Irons, resident of Compton. I formed a committee called Anti-Gentrification and Anti-Rezoning because gentrification has made people homeless, and I'm totally against gentrification. Leave it like it is. Don't rezone this thing. Compton, California Historical Landmark Committee and Points of Interest and Tours. I put that together, even though it ain't working. But we're trying to make all the Richland Farms a historical landmark because it deserves it. And people should start, like the lady said, the people are vegans. They should grow their vegetables in Richland Farm. That's rich land farms. That means it's richest fertilizer. That's why they call it rich land farms. And what's that? Compton Municipal Stadium, which people call Jackie Robinson Stadium, but it's actually a municipality. So I would like to make that a baseball museum, but I cannot fund it myself, and I'm trying to get a grant so it could happen. I went to a grant reading place the other day with Mike Gibson, and they, so I'm trying to get a grant. It ain't about me getting money, it's about making that a museum. We could just go on and get the material from somebody. But a lot of people get grants so they could line their pockets. It ain't about the money. Money doesn't even motivate me anymore. I started earning a living when I was 7 years old, and that money went to my family. The man, they took me to work, he would pay my daddy. So I've been like that all my life. My money is my family's money. My family comes first, and I come second to my family. Yeah, but I hope we could make some of this stuff. Like Kendrick Lamar and these people, they giving us money. What's his name? Eazy-E? I'm for that. Eazy-E went to the president of the United States one time, and Compton don't think he deserves something? Come on. I'm for it. And a lot of rappers are spending their money in Compton, bringing money back to Compton, where a lot of people leave Compton and don't even bring anything back. So, and Compton is a stepping stone for these people. They started off in Compton and end up at the White House. I'm done.
Mr. Adolfo Varas.
Council, it's a pleasure seeing you guys all here again. Gladly finally see all you guys' faces. Okay, so as you guys know, I'm the Executive Director for the Latino Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Compton. I'm glad to announce that we are revitalizing our program that we initiated and introduced in the community back in the 80s. We are bringing back our crime prevention program here in the city of Compton, working with other districts that you guys represent in our city of Compton. We also are gladly to announce that we're working with the Sheriff's Department to also help educate residents as well business owners about how they can prevent crime either at their business or at their residential. As well, I'm excited to let you guys know that we're getting ready to plan our anniversary since we incorporated 1981 in the month of June, as well as some of our historic things that we got accomplished in the city of Compton, getting acknowledged and awards from the city. As much as anything, I want to talk about an issue that's a very hard issue that does not just affect the residents, it also affects the business community in each individual district. And sadly, that is the water issue that we're dealing with. Now, we're not just dealing with brown water, we're dealing with a company that services this water to other residents. And I also want to mind you that it's not, there's more that's transparency here in the community. It's just want to clear this up. It's not just Sativa itself that is giving the brown water as well in our city and our business community. Actual facts, as much as anything, we have the Compton water that also is giving out brown water as much as anything. And I think of being educating our community and our residents a little bit more better on what Pacific districts that are giving and that are servicing these residents as well business communities. And I wanted to clarify that as much as anything as well, because it's not just affecting residents, it's affecting the business owners here as well. And sadly, that's the truth. And as much as anything, we have rumors that is going around that starting by our own Central Basin Director, Leticia Vasquez, represents some of the districts here in the city of Compton that is doing a lot of scaring within our community and our residents, saying as much as anything about that, saying that...
Ma'am, I'm going to ask that you do not disrupt. Okay, thank you.
As much as anything that... As much as anything...
Just let her leave. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Gotta love that. Anyways, like I was saying, I have residents as I know that I am an executive director that represent the businesses here in the city of Compton that are calling me with that issue, which I can always forward it to the council with the text messages that saying that there's feces in this water, which is irrelevant and is wrong. As you know, feces has a lot of viruses that can contaminate the water with hepatitis and as much as other things, medically conditions for residents. We've been dealing with the issue since 2016 and it's not resolved. This is not something that's brought up just recently. It's been going on since 2016. Thank you.
Ms. Diana Medell.
Hi, good evening, Council. Today I have a response from the Assembly member in regards to the Sativa water quality problems. I quote, residents served by Sativa have been constantly complaining about brown water that's coming from their kitchen faucets and bathtubs. This is unacceptable and our community deserves better than to become a mirror of the water disaster in Flint, Michigan. Sativa must be held accountable, said Assemblymember Mike Gibson. Since receiving word of this issue, I have had multiple meetings with the Water Board to ensure appropriate monitoring and local visits to conduct water samples. However, the Water Board also needs to hear directly from our community so that they can be more targeted with their responses. This is why I'm creating the Water Complaint Task Force and clearing house with my community and my office to serve as a resource to our impacted constituents. This will help facilitate information and communication between the community and the Water Board. The task force shall consist of members of my staff and our 64th Assembly District Water Commission. I have heard from the Water Board that although they are aware of this issue, they have only heard a handful of complaints from community residents. My goal is to bridge the gap, which is why I'm launching this campaign today. So our office is going to be creating a complaint center and also a directory to help the community navigate the different agencies that they can complain to. We really want to make sure that our residents are educated on where to go to when things like this happen. So we are going to start doing that. He's launching the campaign tonight, so it will be on his website, all of the forms, but we will also be physically going to the district to ensure that the residents are filling out this form as well. This is very important for the Assembly member. So again, we're launching the campaign today via our website, but we're also available to assist. I'm in the Compton City office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and if anyone needs to reach me, I'll be here after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
I'm sorry?
What's the campaign for?
So we're launching a campaign where residents can come out, have the information from the Water Board from the state of California, so that they can complain directly to the Water Board. We've heard we were present at the conference today this morning, and so there was a lot of community residents that had many complaints about water. They came with water bottles, so we want to ensure that these complaints are being heard from the state board, and also being that there's action being taken on these complaints. We want to ensure that there's physical complaints written to the Water Board and that the Water Board will take action on those complaints. So that campaign is going to be available online, but we'll also have forms too.
Thank you for that.
complaints about water, you're referring to sativa water.
Yes, sativa water. Yeah, those are the complaints that we have gotten so far. We
We're
have
gonna
not
ask that
received
people
any
do not speak
complaints
from the audience.
about Compton water,
We have to have
but
order.
if we do so, then we will address Compton water as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that we just maintain order. I know that we have discussed this water issue over the last couple of weeks. Everyone would have an opportunity to speak. And we'll also, Mr. City Manager, if you can be prepared to also provide another oral report on where we are. We've been collecting information for the last week or so, and there's also been some testing that we've asked our water company to do on some of the water that has been brought forward to us. So we will address this, but we just want to ask that everyone continue to be orderly. Thank you very much.
I had a question for the city manager. You know, some of the residents are getting the private water agency confused with the water from the city. The issue is not the city of Compton Water. It's a private public agency that services about 1,600 households. And how many of those households are in Compton?
30 to 40.
Water tells me that there are approximately 30 to 40 households.
So the rest of them are LA County, right?
Yes.
And it's governed by its own board of directors?
Yes.
Not the city of Compton, so we have no say in what they do, or we have no oversight on what they do, or nothing like that, right?
Correct.
So I want to make sure for the residents' sake.
Thank you.
Might I add one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, there was a question as to who provides the water to Sativa. They're pumping their water from their own wells. They have 2 wells, and that's where the water is coming from, their own wells.
Are we doing anything to help them? Like, are we giving them any advice or any guidance or anything like that?
They are their own board. We have, our staff has contacted their general manager. So any requests that they have made to us have not really been related to assisting them, but we are available to help in any way we can legally.
Yeah, because I think it's important for us to, support the people from Compton, so thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Maddie Reckert.
Good evening, and giving honor to you all. I'm a homeowner in Compton, and I came here tonight to voice my concern about a vehicle that's parked on Cypress and Bering on the blind side of my house. It looks like a vehicle that somebody could live in. I'm not sure if anybody lives there or not because I can't see who's coming and going on that side of the house. But I'm very concerned about somebody being able to move into that area in a mobile home where those houses are there. So I bring this to you because I'm concerned about that particular thing happening there. There are apartment buildings around us. Those apartment buildings are gated. We're not. So we don't have the protection that they have. But they're parking all over our streets. There's oil everywhere. And my main concern tonight is that that mobile home-like vehicle is there. And I would like, someone to look into that for me, for us that live there.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. City Manager, are you aware of this particular location?
Madam Mayor, could you ask her to repeat? Excuse me, ma'am.
It's Cypress and Barron.
Cypress and what?
Barron? Oh, Burris? I have Barron.
Ma'am, is it Cypress and Burris? Is it Cypress and Burris? Burris? What's the cross street?
Oh, could you come to the microphone? We just want to. Barris, okay. Thank you. We had it.
Burris?
775, thank you. That's what I thought she said too. I wrote down Barron.
We'll look into it.
It's Barron. That's what I had.
Barron. Thank you.
Yes, I had Barron. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Barron. If we can ensure that there is a rapid response, I know that when those mobile homes start to locate in residential areas, they stay there, and we know that comes with all type of other health issues and safety issues as well. Thank you.
And I think they actually know where to park. They park where older people are. They don't park next to no man's house where it's a big man going in and out. So you have to be careful. And if even though people can park on the street, it's no crime, but if you think it's a suspicious thing and you can't sleep or you feel uncomfortable, call the sheriffs, call 911, and they'll come check it out and, you know, make sure they don't have any weapons, or if they have warrants or no registration, they can, I guess they can tow the vehicle. But if you feel uncomfortable, dial 911 and just keep calling.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zarita.
I thought we had a ban against overnight parking in campers.
It is, but if a person don't park, if they
report it.
move, I think it's 72 hours. So if they move, you know, even if they move up 10 feet, they technically have moved. But if it's me, if somebody parking in front of my house, I'm gonna just keep calling 911 if I'm suspicious or if I'm uncomfortable. That's what we pay them for.
Ms. Lynn Boone.
Lynn Boone, City of Compton. First, I want to say last week there was an issue in regards to the Volunteers of America. A question was asked by a councilperson in District 2 about the expansion of a nursery. And the city manager responded with, this council voted on it. Well, I pulled the last rental agreement, and I could not find that in the rental agreement or in the resolution. So I'm asking this city manager if he could please provide that as a public document, because I have filled out public requests along with several people in the community, and none of our public requests are being answered. It's past 10 days, and none of the public requests are being answered. And the expiration date on the rental agreement for Volunteers of America is February of 2018. So we would like some answers on that. I would like, I even requested for all of the travel expenses for the council and elected officials. I do have several travel expenses on Mrs. Brown, and I look at the item on the agenda that councilperson in District 1 requested, and there's several violations. We don't have an attorney that addresses that, and that's another request that I have as well. We're gonna send a letter to the city manager asking to put it on the agenda for the council members, not asking them for their agreements, but we are gonna ask that they consider putting that item on a election so we can actually ask for the city attorney to be appointed, because we don't have a viable candidate within the city to run for city attorney, and we need a new city attorney. The other issue that I want to address is that we had funds in item number 9, we had funds in the lease revenue bond to rehab the city hall for the elevator. But we lost those funds. We lost those funds through Measure P. And it's just odd that you cannot find anything, any kind of schedule or anything from Measure P. But you see all these signs, this is being done by Measure P. But we can't find where the money is, the grant money for My Brother's Keeper or any of the other grants that came into the city of Compton. But you go to the airport, and everything's going on at the airport. You have Mr. Petgreave, who came into the city of Compton, dead broke, but he can come up with over $1 million cash to buy the church. Something's wrong here. And then you got the Browns on the board. Thank you.
Ms. Joyce Kelly. You're welcome, ma'am.
First off,
I think your number 5 was mentioned in the state controller's audit. So if we continue to pay the amount of money to the people who are on administrative leave, no wonder we have no money. I received a call from the president or director of Stativa. And you know what he did, Mr. City Manager? He turned it around and said, there are fire hydrants on Willowbrook north of Rosecrans that don't work. They're wrapped up. Well, they are. But I told him Stativa was the problem. The people, the customers of Stativa say they pay money on their water bill or taxes to the city of Compton. Maybe $5 of what they pay for their water goes to Compton. But whether or not it's one customer, 14 or 20 customers, I find it very disheartening that you as a people don't care about these people. Some live in Compton, they're neighbors and friends, and that's why I'm standing with them. They needed a big mouth, and they got one. But the thing is, to look at a video or see little kids crying or asking for clean water is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
You people sit up there under, in God we trust, and what would Jesus do? I'm not here to preach, and I'm not here to act like him. But I need you to show some compassion. But I think it's a little late for you. There's some kind of way you should have cared. And you should have reached out sooner than before. I had mentioned it to you. I want to know on your item number 10 exactly how many people are doing the same job. I remember there were 3 people doing that job with HUD grants, writing grants and etc. On one of the warrants, under number 11244510, it says governmentjobs.com Inc. And it's for $8,400. Now, I tried to put in governmentjobs.com Inc. I'm not that computer literate, but I know Inc. is not on the end of a search engine or whatever you call it. And why do you have to pay $8,400 when I could look up a job on my phone for free? Where's this money going, people?
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Would you like to speak, sir? Just come, and then you can come forward next, ma'am. So we'll have anybody, can we just raise the hands because we may have to reduce the amount of time? Okay, so we have 4 additional speakers, that's fine. You're next, sir, and then ma'am, you'll be next. And if you could just remember to state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, F. Hernandez. There's a ton to talk about, not enough time. 2 weeks ago, after my comments, Mayor Brown said the presentation was online when it wasn't. It appeared the next morning. Thank you. I applaud the Public Works presentation, but did anyone else notice that the City of Compton proposed to outsource all the projects in the form of RFPs? Why are we paying anyone in the Public Works Department then? Also, I suggested to have code enforcement enforce the code violations against the city to help the city have an accurate count. Mayor Brown said it was a process, yet item 4 from last week and item 8 from this week seek to change a title and add duties. We are paying code enforcement $67,000 each, yet they are not post-certified officers. What is the point and what is the benefit to the city? Agenda number 7 is exactly the type of initiative we need from council. Stewards making uncomfortable decisions. Councilwoman Zarita, congratulations. This is a great draft. It should be expanded. The good, trips are pre-approved by council at a meeting. A benefit report after the trip is made at a meeting. Page 3, the travel agency in Linwood will no longer apply, correct? Gratuity is always paid by the individual, not the company. This is a red flag. Why are we, the city of Compton, allowing you guys to pay 20 or gratuity? If I break it down, there's no limit. 365 days, $75. That's $27,375 in just meals for one person. There's no maximum. Could we have a maximum on there?
There is a amount.
Page 5, meals, again, they're vague. It says gratuity can be reduced. What is half a day? It's not clear. I'd like to state the following. If a question is not clearly answered by a policy, such policy is a threat to be misused. On page 5F, each one of you gets $165 a month for cell phone. We should not be paying for the internet, telephone, fax, all of that. Additionally, can we have an attendance roster online? Welcome back, City Treasurer. He's rarely here. We'd like to know who's here and for the whole year. There's enough security that we can actually remove these stanchions. We don't need more barriers to our city government. Additionally, the city flag at the Compton blue line is torn. It's disrespectful. Could we just have a nice looking flag? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am. Come on up. Yes. So sorry. You'll be next, Doctor. And then Miss Maria Villarreal. Thank you.
Okay.
Could you state your name for the record?
My name is Janice Jackson.
Thank
Good
you, Ms.
evening,
Johnson.
everyone. It's nice to see all the seats occupied. Okay, my name's Janice Jackson, and good evening, everyone. And it's nice to see that all the seats are occupied. And to my council representative, Galvin, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I just wanted to say, I've said this before, when I don't attend the council meetings, I view them at home. And last week was very disappointing. It was almost like an episode of Mean Girls going on here. And all I want to say is that there's 4 districts in Compton, and if one district fails, the whole city fails. So those of you that have more experience at being mayor pro tem or how to get things done, work with the ones that have less experience, because do it for the betterment of the city. We have to have some type of unity here. A few weeks ago, you had the guy in here talking about the neo-Nazis and, what they're doing to us as a people. We're doing it to ourselves, because this council is black and brown, the city is black and brown, and we need to look out for each other. Put your little pettiness, whatever, to the side and get busy to get the city together. We got problems here. I wish that there was a way, and I know there is a way, because I also watched the city council meeting in Signal Hill. And there is a way to put that camera on the speaker and the council up there. Because it's sad, people come up here to speak, and you guys are doing everything except for paying attention. And it's rude. Comments are not that long. Can you set your cell phones down until the comments are done? And then you go in take a recess and check all your emails or whatever it is you're up there doing with your phones. But at least respect the people. You're up there to represent the people, the citizens of Compton. Yeah, and maybe you don't care to hear, what they're talking about, but you're supposed to. Because you're the ones that wanted to have that job that you're holding. And if you don't care about the citizens in this city, then step down. Step down and move on. There's other there's political offices you can go to. But start caring about the city and love the people of this city. Love the city. I don't understand.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Craig, oh, we'll have the gentleman there, and then Ms. Maria, are you still going to speak? And then Mr. Henry, you'll be next. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Compton.
Good evening.
Welcome, people of Compton. You are the government of Compton. But I have solved the problem. I looked at Compton as a problem. There's no problem in Compton. All we have to do is think of the 21st century, because that's the century we're in, not the 12th century. We don't have any city-states here.
Sir, I'm just
and
going to
we're
ask
not
that
the
you state your
Italians.
name for the record, please.
But here, my name is Dr. Michael Leonard Tankersley.
Thank you, Dr.
with 3
Michael.
PhDs and standing as leading scientist of the world in 2005.
Thank
You're looking
you.
at me. Now, here's the problem. We have to be unified at this point in time. That's a must. Got to get together, because now IBM has put out Watson. Watson was put in the commercial market to take us all out. We're going to be all passé. Watson can speak 15,000 foreign languages and do 1 quadrillion calculations a second. I talked to Watson at H-Star Block. He talks better than I do. So here's what we're going to have to do, folks. We're going to have to start thinking about coming together or becoming extinct, because this is where it's going to come down to it. I have devised already a plan of action, because we're going to have to deal with the economy. Watson's going to drive the economy. For the 21st century, it's all supercomputers, artificial intelligence. It already drives the environmental systems. It can make it rain, snow, and do everything else. Watson is the threat of the 21st century. We have to look at this in reality, because Watson's already taken away the county of Los Angeles. 40,000 clerks are gone. Watson's it. 40,000 jobs are gone. Forget about jobs. That's the 20th century. And by the way, in the 20th century, you had to learn D-U-C-K. Done. So wars and rumors of wars are no longer rumors of wars. We have new technology. It's out there. We got to get on the ball. We got to be self-sufficient with that technology. We have to know that technology right now, because that technology is taking over. It's all over. See, all this up here is going to go away, and very fastly the county of Los Angeles is going away. All these districts that you're talking about, that's passé. That's city-state. That's 12th century. Forget it. We're in the 21st century. But I wanted to say that we do have beehive
Thank
technology.
you, Dr. Michael.
And
Your
we
time
can
is
work
up.
with it.
Thank you so very much for your presentation.
Yeah.
Ms. Maria Villarreal.
Good evening. María Villarreal. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
María Villarreal. The first thing I wanted to say is that this council meeting is so different when you're present, Mayor Aja Brown. Thank you for your job. And the second thing that I want to say tonight is that, Ms. Cherie, I know I can't change the world by myself, but I can do a little bit and put something that I know, that my knowledge and the changes. And I apologize to you because you were running the meeting, and I got really upset. I had the right to get upset. So I'm saying that I'm sorry. I don't want to continue doing this for the next 5 years and get myself angry. I'm going to do things better for the community and myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm not afraid to speak. I'm not a mayor or a council person, but I'm not afraid to be here. There's some people that disrespect people, and they don't know what respect means. So therefore, I'm saying, I know when I disrespect people, I have the courage to say I'm sorry. So the third thing is, Mr. City Manager, any response about the cleaning on Rosecrans Elementary School? We still have that issue. Just if you can take a look at, please, thank you. And the third thing is that Latino Chamber of Commerce is going to start signing in restaurant employees for food handling classes on June 4th. So all those business owners that owns restaurants in Compton, if you're listening to this meeting, we invite you guys to come in and sign your employees. That's going to be a group of 10. We're going to train them, and we're going to help them to get their certificate. And we're going to go through the procedures, how they need to handle the food. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Craig Henry.
Craig Henry, citizen of the great city of Compton. Some things just don't warrant responses, so I'll go straight to what my point is. A while back, I've talked on several occasions about Angelus Ashby Cemetery. It rained, it looked a little better. Councilwoman Zarita, you had mentioned at some point to the water people about recycled water, perhaps how it can assist us. And it's not just that cemetery. Every cemetery in the city of Compton at this point is absolutely horrific. We paid good money to have our families there. But there is a, Mr. City Attorney, there is a clause that stipulates, I found out that the owner of Angelus Ashby is a resident of Texas. And when you own property in the city of Compton, you are to pay it a visit so many times a year to make sure that it's being kept up. This gentleman, I even had a number and lost it, does live in Compton, Texas. There's also an ordinance for eyesores in the city of Compton. That place has become an eyesore. And this does not affect Craig Henry. My brother is in that cemetery. My mother is in the crypt there. This affects the city of Compton. There are people from the entire city, not District 1, 2, 3, and 4, but all districts, who have loved ones in that cemetery. Now, I've done all I can do to solicit the help, but I'm going to call on the community to come to the council and stand with me on getting some action done when it comes to that cemetery. There is, whether you all are aware of it or not, there is a whole Facebook page of residents of Compton who talk nothing but about the cemeteries here in the city, and it's thousands of us. I have asked, it's going on the third year, that something be done at that cemetery. It is a part of this city. Angelus Ashby was the most beautiful cemetery in Southern California. All around, it was a crematorium, it was marble, it was beautiful. They have coat hangers holding gates up over there now. It is absolutely atrocious. I went over there to see my brother's grave, and where we used to walk up a beautiful tree and pathway is gone. Everything. Grass has grown. The grass that is there, I won't say grass, dead weeds have grown over the headstones. It is absolutely atrocious. And I am seriously soliciting this council to assist us in doing us. There are thousands of us in doing something about that cemetery. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
We're now at consent agenda.
Consent items are routine and expected to be non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion unless a council member requests for an item to be removed or discussed.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita?
Yes.
Galvan?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Cherie?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
We are now at city managers' reports. A request, item number 4 is a request to schedule public hearings and workshops for the consideration of the proposed fiscal year 2018-2019 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I would like to just note that some of the items that were presented in public comment today about the cleanliness of the city, some of the code enforcement issues that have been chronic issues, such as vacant properties, as well as businesses not following the city's code to upkeep their property, as well as the cemetery, which was just discussed by the previous speaker. And I have spoken with the city manager about this, and I know that there are plans to provide one person dedicated to code enforcement issues in the city. And so we obviously have our city municipal code, but there has to be someone dedicated 24 hours to making sure that those infractions are addressed in a timely manner, because we have the policies in place. The council has ensured that they are in place for addressing additional fines. We've raised fine levels, but there has to be someone that's focused on recovery. And so that's just one specific item, and I did want to address some of the public comments since the speakers took the time to come down here and to address the council. And Mr. City Manager, I know that we'll be beginning the budget workshop cycles, but I would like to ensure that at the council presentation level, if we can have maybe an abbreviated presentation just on some of the changes that you're looking at making or recommending to the council for this cycle, so that we can have more than enough time to open up public discussion and to address those with the community as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. And Madam City Clerk, for the consideration, if you don't mind just reading for the record the proposed dates of what those workshops will be, because I know that they weren't attached to the agenda item.
Mayor and Council, at the Section 1406 of the City Charter requires that the City Council shall hold public hearings on the proposed budget, at which interested parties can hear and have the opportunity to have a discussion about that. So with that in mind, the staff is requesting public hearings for Tuesday, June 12th, 2018 at 5:35 in the council chamber, and also Tuesday, June 19th, 2018 at 5:35 in the council chamber. Additionally, the staff is also requesting that the City Council schedule 5 budget workshops as follows. Tuesday, May 1st, 2018 at 4 p.m. It's a City Council Priorities Workshop here in the council chambers. Tuesday, May 8th, 4 o'clock, department presentations by department heads in the council chamber. Tuesday, May 15th, 4 o'clock, department presentations here in the council chambers. Tuesday, May 22nd, and June 5th, both at 4 o'clock here in the council chamber for department head presentations.
Thank you very much. Any additional discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna request that on those days that you have those 4 o'clock budget hearings or workshops, that the agenda be to the very minimal, just what is necessary on the agendas. I don't think we should have any presentations or anything on those agendas.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita?
Yes.
Galvan?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
The next item is city attorney's reports.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, City Council, we're requesting several closed session discussions. The first is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Bradford versus City of Compton, California, Second Appellate District, case number B as in boy, 276236. Blair versus City of Compton, Los Angeles Superior Court, case number BC 674330, and Contreras versus City of Compton. United States District Court, case number 217 C V as in Victor 08834, pursuant to California Government Code section 54956.9A. And we also have a public employee performance evaluation titled City Controller, pursuant to California Government Code section 54957. Requesting a motion for closed session.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
We are now at new business. Item number 6 is a resolution of the City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton amending the 2017-2018 fiscal year budget to transfer funds between accounts and authorize the city manager to enter into a professional service agreement with and issue a purchase order to Moore Icofano Goldsman Incorporated for landscape architectural design services for the South Park Improvement Project, $24,860.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Mr. City Manager, could you please just give a brief description of this item for the members of the public?
Madam Mayor and Council, very briefly, this South Park project was initially scheduled for work back in 2015. Has been delayed for approximately 3 years. At that time, the bids were rejected due to the lack of funds at the time. This particular company submitted a proposal, which you see on page 2 of 4. Some of the work has already been done, so the revision of the proposal is, scope of work is less. Thus, this project was, in order to re-release it and get it done in a timely manner, we went with the same proposer, which at the time was also the only bidder. This particular company was founded in 1981, and they've done a number of projects here in the city that include the Greenleaf Parkway Project, the Alondra Regional Park Community Outreach Master Plan, the Willowbrook Railroad right-of-way, and the Compton Creek Nature Park at Washington Elementary School. That concludes this portion of my presentation.
Thank you. And just publicly, could you confirm, which is also printed in the staff report, that this item did comply with our bid policy?
Yes, and it did come in compliance with our bid process.
Thank you, sir. Any council discussion?
Just one question. The accounts that since you're being held accountable for knowing what accounts to use, these are water funds, or, are these Parks and Rec funds that you're transferring from?
These funds, we run all of our funding line items through the Controller's Office to double check the accuracy of the funding source, as well as the accuracy of where the funding comes from, and that it complies with all rules and regulations.
Thank you. They were supposed to always do that. Thank you.
Yeah, because I see this is signed by, even though Mr. Cornwell said he doesn't see everything, but this is signed by Ruth Rugley, the city attorney. So
no, she checks.
Legally been approved, correct?
Yes.
Yes, she checks.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 7 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton revising the City of Compton's expense and reimbursement policy and rescinding resolution number 24331.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. City Manager, could you provide a description of this item as well? Oh, I'm sorry, this came from the city attorneys. Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We have currently on the books an expense and reimbursement policy for elected officials. We have a request to amend the policy, so requests for travel would require approval by this body prior to the authorization.
Any additional? Thank you, sir. Any additional discussion?
And this also changed the reimbursement policy, right? So that we get the per diem prior to?
No.
Say that part again.
That we changed, is this the one where we changed the per diem policy where we get our per diem prior to instead of being reimbursed?
No.
I can let me go to reimbursement.
Thought I read that, maybe I didn't.
The reimbursement for meals is limited to a maximum of $75 per day, including gratuity unless there's an exception by the policy. That's been existing.
Right, but I thought in this policy, in this change, we were making it where you get like the staff here, they get their $75 up front and bring back receipts. No? I don't know what else.
The reimbursement, I believe, is required by state law.
Okay. Thank you.
I had a question. So does this new resolution mean that anytime any elected official up here, whether it be treasurer, attorney, clerk, mayor, or council, before we travel, we have to vote on it?
Correct.
So that I'm clear, so normally with the clerk, the attorney, and the treasurer, travel is approved in the budget. Travel expenses.
We have an allocation in the budget.
Exactly. So is it gonna change where your travel has to be approved by the council? Or is it this policy, we're still gonna have a line item in your budget for travel?
We will still have a line item to allocate funds to travel. Specific requests will come to the council. If it's not a line item in the budget, for example, in May, I intend, depending on this resolution, I anticipate attending the League of Cities City Attorney Conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in the budget. It's not a line item for it. I have money allocated to go. I don't have the specific authorization. I would prepare a staff report and resolution seeking permission to attend.
Okay.
I had one last question. I know in the past, some elected officials have traveled under the travel fund of different departments. So does this new resolution prohibit them from doing that?
Travel would come to this body. The source of the travel would not be part of the request. I think that's a budgetary issue.
I have
But I have one question, I'm sorry. You're saying the source of the travel, when the travel form comes, won't it have the account number that it will be taken from?
I would imagine.
Okay.
I would imagine so, but
Okay.
this policy
Doesn't
didn't
say.
discuss source of funds
Okay.
to answer
Okay.
the question.
Okay.
So.
I understand.
Right, I could touch a little bit on how we prepare travel for the council. So every year we can anticipate certain amounts of travel. League of Cities, contract cities, in other National League of Cities, maybe the Black Congressional Caucus, things like that. So we look at that and we anticipate that if every elected official, every council member would like to go, we anticipate those funds. And we put that into the budget for them to travel.
But it's still, if one decides to go, it still has to come before the council.
Yes.
To be approved.
According to this policy now, yes.
Question. So, before you go, like, for example, I've already booked and sent out prepaid registration stuff for next week at the Government Finance Officers Association. So when does this take effect? I've already spent my own money on it.
This is a resolution. It takes effect immediately. It would not take effect retroactively. So if something has been authorized and allocated, I would imagine that would predate this resolution.
Okay.
But going forward, we would comply.
Any additional discussion? Roll, oh,
One last thing.
yes, sir.
This has nothing to do with city staff that travels, right?
No.
Does not, no.
No.
Commissioners.
Any additional discussion?
Or
Oh, yes,
commissioners?
sir.
Commissioners are
Commissioners
commissioners
are
are
also
also under approval of the city manager?
Commissioners are included in this.
And this policy, thank you.
Commissioners travel?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Where
Training.
to?
They go to some training seminars.
And if they're a part of, and if they're a part of national organizations, sometimes they go to their national organization conventions.
Mayor and council, also want to add that next month, Contract Cities is coming up, and we'd already started preparing and making travel arrangements for this body. So that would be retroactive, and so going forward, anything after that, we would put on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 8. Item number 8 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton approving an amendment to the position classification plan by adding the revised position classification of legal assistant, formerly legal secretary classification, and amending the 2017-18 fiscal year budget to add 1 legal assistant position to the city attorney's office.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this item, in the current budget, I had the position of legal secretary, the job description, reference transcription and shorthand and other antiquated tasks. We revised the job description with the assistance of the Planning Commission. It is now a legal assistant is the title of the position. And I just wanted to add that the actual range is 118 as referenced in the resolution, but the monthly and annual salaries are less. Monthly, it's $4,113 minimum with a maximum of $4,820, and the annual salary is $49,356. Maximum is $57,840. And I've given the information to the clerk to make those corrections.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
So was there a meet and confer?
This position is not represented by a union.
So the person is at will?
No, the person is classified, but does not belong to a union.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 9 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton amending the 2017-18 fiscal year budget to transfer funds, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with and issue a purchase order for Amtech elevator services for repair of the number 2 elevator in City Hall.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. City Manager, so once this part is purchased, if approved tonight, how long will it take for the elevator to be up and running? Is this like a for sure fix, or is this a secondary fix that
I'll
we
call
hope
up,
is going to work?
Department
You
Head, Mr.
could
Wilson.
tell me, you could tell me.
I don't know if it's gonna be a for sure fix. I know that we're spending a significant amount of money to fix it. Now, whether this will be the final fix, I do know that we also have to deal with the other elevator because both are from 1976.
Yeah, because I think it's totally unacceptable. I think it's grounds for all kind of things to have an elevator out for almost a year half a year. It's just, to me, it's unacceptable. So to bring this item to the agenda now, what does this mean?
Mr. Wilson, hello.
Mayor, members of council, can you all hear me here? Okay. General Services Director Van Wilson. Your first question was whether or not this would be a fix. It is in fact a fix. It's a complete replacement of the elevator piston cylinder, which is perhaps the most important component of the elevator. It is going to be, we should anticipate doing this with the number 1 elevator for next budget year. As it relates to your question that, or your statement about the amount of time that it's taken, I first and foremost agree with you that it has been a long process. However, we have been making, we have made a number, and when I say we, the city, this is not a service that the city employees provide. It's provided through a contract with a elevator service company. And we have made a number of attempts to provide repairs to the elevator. This whole thing started back, in terms of, I'll just give you a timeline. The elevator problem started back in about September. And in September, our employees started feeling a little discomfort on the elevator, kind of jerked. And we called out our service company, determined that there was that the pump was not pushing enough fluid into the piston shaft.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I heard all this story before. So with this part, if approved tonight, how long will it take to get the part and get it?
It's going to be an additional 3 months.
Is that the fastest way?
That is. So to replace the piston shaft, so if you think that building's approximately 33 feet, there's a 33-foot shaft that's underneath. It's got to be completely removed. Elevator car will be hoisted to the top of the ceiling, and then they'll start a process of cutting the shaft to remove the segments of it. Once it's been cut, there then needs to be the entire core of it needs to be removed. That means they're going to have to come in and drill out the core, and then they'll have to size and replace the actual remaining. Size and replace the new piece. So it's a major construction piece. And normally when a construction project involves an elevator, the elevator is one of the first items that's installed. So it's a major construction, piece of construction that will take place.
So the other elevator has been serviced good enough for it to hold up until you get to?
So both elevators, as a matter of fact, all elevators that are in the city's operation are under state regulation. Okay. And they receive routine maintenance. And that current one is in good shape. However, the recommendation from our service provider, and we've had about 4 or 5 companies come out, is that we need to prepare to replace the other one in this next budget year. Those shafts have been in place since the building was built. So it's been there a long time. It's done its job. It's just at its end of life.
So this is pretty much, it will be almost new.
The piston will be new. The only upgrades that we could recommend would be the actual car itself. Okay. The shaft and the car are the 2 most expensive pieces. If we opt to do the cars, they are about $50,000 a piece as a starting point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it's just unfortunate that it took us this long to make a decision on what we're going to do. Did we do an RFP?
Yes.
It's in the report. Any additional discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita?
Yes.
Galvan?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Cherie?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
Item number 10 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton, authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional service agreement with and establish a purchase order for Be Adair Consulting and Administrative Services for reporting and administrative support for Compton's housing and urban development HUD grant programs, $34,850.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Discussion? Mr. City Manager, do you mind just giving a brief description, and then we'll go to additional comments?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this position has been hired in the past, and HUD Community Development Block Grant Home and NSP Neighborhood Stabilization Program grants are federal grants managed by the Grants Division. As such, it's not uncommon for us to hire consultants to assist with the specialized federal regulations and reporting for these particular grants. They submitted a RFQ in December of 2017, and we only received one reply back we sent it out to 6 companies and got one reply back. What this particular consultant will do is prepare the HUD Consolidated Annual Action Plan, the HUD Consolidated Annualized Performance and Evaluation Report, the HUD's Oversight of Integral Disbursement Information System, completion of the HUD quarterly and monthly reports and review and or update of program files to make it audit ready, and provide other grant administrative services as needed for these programs.
Thank you. Discussion?
So this is neighborhood housing. That's fine. I see what I wanted to know.
Okay. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita,
Yes.
Galvan,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
Cherie,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 11 is approval of warrants. Staff is requesting that the warrants be pulled. We are now at council comments.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk. Councilman Galvan?
No comments.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zarita?
Just real quick. The issue was brought up about the cemeteries. I think once before we had talked about, maybe prior to you coming here, Mr. Rambo, but we had talked about reclaimed water, and there's a connection that we have to purchase as a city, and I think it's about $30-some thousand or maybe a little more. But there used to be a lot of grants available for that. So can we check into that, to getting a connection to the reclaimed water for the cemeteries, and we could actually use it for our medians and parkways. We could do a lot with reclaimed water. So, and then also, I'm waiting for my schedule for Seabury Park. If you pass by there, it looks like it's really coming along. The playground equipment is up, the canopy, the gazebo is up. A lot of the exercise equipment is up. So I'll be having a grand opening with my colleagues soon. So as soon as I get the schedule, I'll keep you posted. And then lastly, the teepee. The teepee is actually a teepee.
It really is.
And it's been there for about 3 weeks, but unfortunately that is private property. Even though it has the little picket fence and it looked like the rest of our successor agency property is actually private property. So there are steps that you have to take to go on to private property to remove somebody. But city manager is working on it.
So today, Council Lady, we sent the fire chief and an inspector out to make contact with that particular individual. As you can imagine, there are some mental challenges there. And I contacted the Sheriff's Department to make contact with that individual to have him removed from the property. And we're also making contact with the property owner of that location, as well as putting that particular location in touch with our community-based operators, Hopix, PATH, and LASA.
Yeah, I wonder if he's like a Native American or something, because he really knows how to make a teepee. I mean, it's really a teepee. It was really worth passing by there to see it. And at night, he has the fire burning, and it's like he's out in the wilderness somewhere. But let's try to see if we take care of that. Because you know, the thing that's the most terrifying to me is, as a mother, and kids walk that way to go to school, and you got somebody there with mental issues. It's obvious, somebody living in a teepee on the main street, and all it takes is one time to ruin a little girl's life or a little boy's life forever. So, you know, I think we need to really take that serious and really be aggressive with those type of people, because you got to think about your own kid, or, you know, would you want that to happen to your kid? It's really sad to even think about it. It just makes my stomach turn. But said enough about that. And then Reclaim Water TP. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'd like to close in the memory of Rodney Thomas, somebody I grew up with on Arbutus Street. Young man, I say young, I think I'm still young. Rodney Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman McCoy?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few announcements. I want to thank Greater Zion, who came out. They're a partner with me for the community garden, so we did the planting at the community garden in Tucker Park, and they're gonna maintain watering, and also in conjunction with collaborative partners, the summer program, the children are going to participate as well. So I just want to thank them. I want to thank all that came out to help with my Compton Creek cleanup that took place this past Saturday. I had a tremendous amount of support from different organizations, USC, the AKAs. I just had and I did it in conjunction with World Oil. So they had about 60, 75 of their employees out there cleaning up the creek. So we're cleaning up the creek because that leads into my 5K run that will be on May 5th. And so we're going to maintain the creek, and the purpose of actually doing the 5K run, we're going to run the entire creek, but the purpose is to promote keeping it clean and to promote health as well, because we all need to get out and do a little exercise, walk, or do something. And so if our creek is maintained, then maybe people will be more inclined to use it. So I invite everybody to come out to the Compton Creek 5K run, May 5th, starting at 7 a.m., Centennial High School, and it will end at the Compton Gateway Center, Town Center. Registration is online at Compton Creek 5 Run at eventbrite.com, or contact Vanita Austinette at 310-713-3034. That's my assistant. And I also attended Little Lambs. They had a spring fashion show, and that was the most adorable thing you could attend. Those little children from the age of 2 on up were actually modeling their spring fashions, walking the runways, and it was a great event. So Little Lambs, keep up the good work. They are really promoting positivity in those children. They all stood up and said their little speeches of that I am somebody important and special, and so I just wanted to commend them for their work with our youth, because they're our future leaders. And I also went to Earth Day that took place on this past Saturday at Gonzalez Park, and it's promoting us caring for our earth, which is our precious commodity. So please pick up paper when you see it, eat healthy and plant something, and continue to take care of our earth. And I was away because I attended mosquito awareness conference. I am on the mosquito abatement board, and there was a conference in Atlanta, and so I attended on behalf of the mosquito abatement. They paid for it. It wasn't a cost to the city. And I just learned a lot of valuable information as far as health care and what we need to do, and who we contact in case of an emergency. You know, people were worried about the Zika virus, but we also still have West Nile out there. So we just have to be vigilant about when you see, if you think you have mosquitoes, please contact me or Councilwoman Zarita. She's on the board representing LA County, and let's just contact us and let us know so that we could come out, because this is getting to be warm again and we don't want mosquitoes. And the best way to actually alleviate mosquitoes is to get rid of all standing water. That's what they breed in. But give us a call if you have any questions about it. And then we had Mosquito Awareness Day at Longfellow School on Thursday, which was a great event. It was educating our youth. So come out and support us at the actual, let's see, the aviation, tomorrow's Aeronautical is having a airfare. It's free admission on Saturday, May 19th, 2018, 10 to 4. And they're going to have college booths and a job fair and airplane rides, and it's in conjunction with the city, with LA County, with Compton Unified. So please come out and support the aviation. They are doing some wonderful things over there. They're actually building a missile over there. And they actually have a chef where you can go over there and have lunch. So go out and support them. And again, a reminder that there will be on Saturday the Key of Knowledge, as well as collaborative partners, the Junior Cricket League with Coach Mustafa Khan. And it will be at Walter Tucker Park, Saturday, April 28th, 1 p.m., and the address to Walter Tucker Park is 560 West Laurel. There will be snacks, and there will be an actual cricket match. And that's all of my comments. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Sharif?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Tomorrow, April the 25th, I will be hosting the Compton Quarterly Business Roundtable, and that will be from 10 to 12 at the Dollar High Community Center. This is an opportunity for you to network with local businesses, meet with law enforcement and city staff. We will have guest speakers there from Prime America, which will be Allison Phillips and Constant Anderson, and Joseph Duncan of the Pacific Coast Regional SBDC will also be there. And we will be serving a lunch, so please, businesses, people, please come by and join us. And we're going to have a nice time tomorrow. And we're also going to have our city manager there as well, sharing some information with you. And the Parks and Recreation Department are currently providing free golf lessons to the Compton youth Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at the Compton Par 3 Golf Course, located at 6400 East Compton Boulevard. There's a $3 green fee for all non-Compton youth and for all youth during non-lesson times. For more information, please call 310-605-5668. I'm sorry, that's 310-605-5688. 310-605-5688. And, you know, I also attended Little Lamb's event, the spring event. They had an opportunity to see the young people there modeling. And I always have to go back to Little Lambs because my grandson came through there, and did an exceptional job with him. And to be there and watch the young people as they came out and modeled their clothes. But there was one little girl there, I mean, she was so adorable. It was just amazing to see how those young people came out, and they were not afraid. I mean, we had a few that was afraid, but for the most part, they were not afraid. They came out and they modeled, and they did a magnificent job. But the people there, Little Lambs, have done an exceptional job with a lot of children throughout the city, and I really want to thank them for their continued services to this community. Now, this weekend, I had a really busy weekend, but I went to the Compton Initiative. They was here cleaning, and also they did a church here on Compton. I went by. They were actually painting there and doing a lot of work. So they did a lot of work here throughout the community, not only just here, one place here in 4th District, but I also know they was in 2nd District and some other districts as well working. So they did a fantastic job, as always. And I had an opportunity to go by the council woman, Tana McCoy. She had the creek clean up, and I went by to cheer her on and to support her for her event because she's done a lot of work there, and I really appreciate it. Because when I take a look at it, a lot of work that's being done there really runs through 4th District, and I really appreciate all the work that she's done there to make sure she take care of the creek. So thank you. And I happened to be in Sacramento on the 18th, and I was there to visit our different legislators, and I had the opportunity to speak with the staff of our Assembly Member Mike Gibson. He was in meetings all day, so I had an opportunity to speak with them about a lot of different bills that's coming through, things that we would like to see them support, and especially a lot of the housing bills that's going to be coming through that they are and asking for their support. And I also went to see our Senator Steve Bradford, his staff, talked to them about the same thing. But one of the things I'm very happy about, and most of us are, is that the bill SB 827 by Weiner, that bill was never got out of the Senate Transportation and Housing Committee, so that was defeated. And they really want to thank them because it was reaching out to a lot of different cities. Compton was one of the main cities that they was reaching out to. We gave a lot of support to them and to make sure that this did not pass. Los Angeles and also the San Francisco as well. So I really want to thank the League of Cities for their leadership in making sure that this bill never was passed. Thank you. And Mr. City Manager, the illegal dumping in the 4th District is constantly being repeated in the same areas. The city has cleaned it up several times in Wednesday and Friday. More dumping is done in the exact same location. I just wondering, where are we as far as the camera projects in regards to those areas right now?
I spoke to General Services, who has IT, and they're trying to program the cameras. One of the issues with the cameras is getting them in a hotspot area and having the battery last long enough to take care of that. So we're taking a look at that and maybe some other types of cameras for that particular location. We're also going to bring back an item for the council to consider that it actually involves increasing one of the lights that went out up top, increasing the, providing a little bit of overtime to the Sheriff's Department to do some operations, special operations, along with code enforcement.
Okay, also the lights that's under the 17 freeway, they are on right now. I know that you had explained to me what caused them to go out. I'm just wondering how are we going to be able to address that issue as far as trying to make sure those lights stay on, because it's really dark when those lights are not on there under that underpass.
So the 710 freeway underpass at Atlantic is the location you're referring to. That location has a number of challenges. One, there's vandalism that occurs, not only to the bulbs themselves, but also to the electrical wiring. And the other part is it's on the 710 freeway, which is traveled heavily by semi-trailers and tractors. The vibration from that sometimes jars the connections with the lights in the overpass or underpass for us. So I've asked Public Works staff to take a look at that location at least once a week to monitor that location. But in terms of, in short of, making it impermeable for people to actually vandalize it or reinforcing the entire overpass of the freeway would be almost impossible for us to make it impervious to any of those breaches in security. So our plan right now is just to monitor it weekly and maintain it as best we can.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have been talking about an economic development plan for the city for a while, and right now I spoke with you about this previously, and could you please just advise me as to when we can expect this maybe to be presented to the council?
So I spoke with the planning department earlier today, and we looked at the general plan that was actually implemented back in the early 90s. It expired in about the mid-2000s. That plan to be amended is approximately $400,000 that we are hoping to put in next year's budget. There is also a City of Compton 30-year plan that we're currently reviewing, and it's too big to send. It's about 300 pages long.
That would be the general plan, I think.
No, there's a Compton 30-year plan. If you go to the website, there's one on the website. There's a Compton 30-year plan also. There's general plan that is a 20-year general plan that
Okay.
was implemented in the 90s. So those are the two issues, and then I'm working also with Dean Jones on bringing forth something a little more robust for the council to review in the future on the economic development plan based upon the original general plan as well as the Compton 2030 plan as we get our hands on just really analyzing what that initial plan was.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to close in memory of Annie E. Sanders, which is a longtime Compton resident. Ms. Sanders' funeral will be held on Wednesday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. at Macedonia Baptist Church. That's at 1751 East 114th Street here in Los Angeles. That's Macedonia Baptist Church. And she's also a member of National Women NWNC. Thank you.
Thank you. I will also be brief. I just want to follow up with the city manager regarding the agreement with the county to address some of the issues that the city and the county share for maintenance. I know we talked about the Civic Center area, but also some of the thoroughfares and some of the vacant lots and alleyways that are actually county property, but they abut Compton, and we usually spend our resources to respond to constituents. But we need to figure out what type of agreement we can set with them so that it can be a reimbursement agreement if we do expend city resources to address those issues in those county islands.
Mayor, I've spoken to General Services on the Civic Center agreements. Apparently there is currently nothing in writing because the Civic Center is also partially owned by the city and partially owned by the county and partially maintained by the state. So we're working on an agreement through General Services for that. And the Public Works Director is looking on the border issues, particularly with alleys and streets that border the city and the county with their Public Works folks.
Okay, can we have a date of an update for the Civic Center issues? I've requested this over a year ago, and I'm aware that we have 3 entities, the state, the city, and the county, but there's no reason why we can't get something in writing to address the Civic Center. It's a prominent area in the city, and it should be maintained, and it's not being maintained in an appropriate manner.
Okay, I'm directing the General Services Manager to bring us something back in writing next council meeting.
Okay.
Either telling us where the state is in the county and or when the next meeting for that discussion to take place is.
Okay, thank you. And also while we're with...
Same with the Public Works Department for the county.
Great. And then also, we still need to address the creek along Rosecrans on the south side area. It still is not being secured properly. And we discussed this 2 weeks ago, and it is a safety hazard.
You're talking about where the bridge was, that's a county repair item, so I'll talk to the Public Works Director to get with the county to let us know when they can get out and fix that actual repair. That bridge was breached, as you recall, from a car accident a number of months back, and we simply do not have the expertise or the equipment or manpower to repair that, and it's actually a county issue.
Okay, I just hope that since it's a county issue, that if there are any liability issues that arise, that it does not become a city issue. Also, for follow-up, I have the LED lighting pilot project. We received a written update via email on what the current status was, but is there an update on those items? I haven't received anything in the last 2 weeks.
I do not have a current update, but I will send you guys something before this week is out.
Okay, thank you. Just 2 quick announcements. 3rd Annual College Summit, Preparation for Success by the J.T. Fisher Foundation in Greater Zion, April 28th, 2018, from 9 to 2 p.m. And also we have our annual Compton Girls Free Prom Dress Party and Giveaway, hosted in partnership with the Positive Results Corporation. Location is Dollar High Community Center. Date is May 5th, 2018, from 11 to 3 p.m. It is free, but we're asking that the young ladies please reserve your spot so that we can accommodate you. The email address is info@prc123.org, and we are still accepting donations directly to the Positive Results Corporation for gently or new worn dresses, shoes, jewelry, or other items that young ladies are in need of. And we're also still accepting signups from makeup artists that are providing their services to the young ladies as well for prom. Just quickly wanted to mention, I know we discussed the sativa brown water issue. Just wanted to also reiterate that there are about 30 to 40 Compton residents affected. And to give some historical context, in years past, there was a proposal for the city to absorb sativa. And at the time, the residents that were a part of sativa, they expressed that they did not want to be absorbed into Compton water because at that time, sativa had a flat rate. And so every water user pays the same amount per month for their bill, which was at that time $50 or $60 per month. And so the city manager in our discussions today, he is going to be reaching out to figure out, is it even a possibility for us to still absorb those 30 or 40 customers into our water system, and to see if that's something that we can continue to pursue, because it is such a small number of Compton residents that are a part of that water system. It may be feasible for us to absorb them into Compton water if that would secure their water quality as well. And we'll provide an update on that. And just quick note, in 2017, Assemblymember Gibson introduced Assembly Bill AB 272, which would have created the Southeast Los Angeles County Water Relief Act, which was designed to ensure that struggling water agencies have had a financial mechanism and ability to partner with larger, more sophisticated public water agencies to support their efforts to draw down state grant funds that were focused on disadvantaged or underserved communities. One of the key challenges that smaller water districts face is their inability to draw down state funds as a result of not meeting the technical, managerial, and financial sophistication that is required for state support. By linking these small districts with a larger partner, they are able to collaborate in a way that preserves small district autonomy while borrowing from the larger district's technical capacity. Beyond this bill, Assemblymember Gibson has worked to engage the Water Board directly in order to get funding on behalf of Sativa, but current grant applications from Sativa are still pending. And I want to thank the city manager. He provided a report to the council as to the status of Sativa, their current plans for improving their water system, and also some of their funding applications. I'm just going to ask Mr. City Manager that information be posted on the city's website. I believe you said that it was there earlier. I just hadn't personally checked myself, so that information is available to the public as well. And lastly, if there is a city staff person that can attend any of the upcoming town halls regarding this water issue, just so that we can have a report back as to what is being said or stated, or the response of Sativa as well. And then 2 weeks ago, we did ask for a written report on staff's actions to reach out to Sativa to figure out what the status of their system was, so we can just have something in writing for our benefit and make that available to the public. I'd appreciate that as well. Thank you. Quickly, also, I'd like to request on the city's website to have a web page dedicated to give citizens the how-tos or the process to get speed bumps on their streets, and also how to request permanent parking for their neighborhoods. That's one of our top 2 inquiries that we receive in our office from residents wanting to know how can they actually go through that process, and also for handicap parking spaces. So if we can provide that information online, that would be helpful. And lastly, I know that we are in process of requesting or recruiting a public information officer or firm, and I'm just requesting that we also provide our infrastructure improvement plans or schedules in local newspapers. So we obviously have Central Phase 2 underway, and there are other residential streets that the council has also approved, if we can make that public knowledge as well. Because I know that all the council, they're sharing that information with their constituents as that information becomes available, but we need something at least publicly noted so that people can have a reference as well. Thank you. And I'm just requesting next week an update on the functionality and responsiveness of the city app. At the April 10th council meeting, I requested for us to be able to check that out, because we did have some requests that were submitted by constituents that were not followed up on, and I just wanted to make sure that the app is currently working properly. And just a reminder that on the May 1st council meeting, we're expecting an update on the customer service surveys after constituent calls. You were going to inquire whether or not we can activate that on our current phone system, which has been recently upgraded. Thank you. We will now recess and, yes, ma'am.
We got this request for,
Oh, yes.
for the repass, but we didn't act on it. Is there a reason?
No, there's going to be, there's a
There's what?
there's a council meeting on May 1st.
Okay.
We'll have
And
an
then,
opportunity to address this.
okay. And then I would add to the city manager, I would like a flushing schedule for us, the flushing schedule for Compton Water. I would like for the council to be made aware as well as for it to be posted on the website.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You know, sorry to speak after
No problem.
you, Mayor, but I just was curious, Mr. Rambo, can you just find out and send it to me? Is the water reservoir working at Seabury Park? Okay.
Thank you. We will now recess in the memory of Rodney Thomas and also Miss Annie E. Sanders. May we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif. Mayor Brown.
Yes. Thank you all and good night.
The entire city council was present in closed session. The first items were conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Bradford versus City of Compton, California Second Appellate District, case number B276236. No reportable action taken in that matter. Blair versus City of Compton, Los Angeles Superior Court case number BC 674330. No reportable action in that matter. And Contreras versus City of Compton, U.S. District Court case number 217 CV 08834. No reportable action pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9A. There was also a discussion with public employee under the performance evaluation. Title City Controller, no reportable action pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957. That concludes the report out. Madam Clerk.
We're now at adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
The chair will adjourn in memory of Rodney Thomas and Annie E. Sanders. Roll call.
Councilperson Galvan?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McCoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sharif?
Yes.